So my last video that I just did, I had all of my romance favorites so far of 2021, and I said that I was going to do like a non-romance specific related video as well. So in this one, I have all fantasy and then one nonfiction, because I've only read one nonfiction, because nonfiction is really my thing, except for this book. This book is supreme, one of the best books I've read all year, gonna be in my top 10, it's great. We're gonna get into all of the fantasies and that one nonfiction. However, I will just say all the fantasies do have romance in it, because I don't really want it if it doesn't. Just saying, can you not knock that down, please? No, that's my contacts. Kitties, once again, are testing the patience today. First of all, before I get into this, I do just want to say so many big thanks to Jen from the Book Refuge and Jess from Peace Love Books. Jess and Jen both recently included my channel in recent videos of theirs to like shout out just smaller creators. That has like leaps and bounds and like boosted my channel. 3 days ago, I had like 840 subscribers, and now when I'm making this, I have like 1,000, I have like 1.1 thousand followers, which is just insane. I know still like 1,000 for some people is like it's like a small milestone, but for me, when I started this and I made my first Throne of Glass vlog video and I just put it out there. I didn't really expect it to do anything. I just kind of more made it for myself, if anything, and just kind of for fun. And then to now, less than a year later, like I already have 1,000. That's just a lot for me personally that I was never expecting to happen with this channel. So that's just really cool and so sweet of both of them. I'll link both of them below. I feel like if you're following me, you're probably following both of them already, but I'll link them below anyways. And I realized in both of their videos that I don't think I've ever said my name on this channel before. So real quickly, my name's McKay. My full name's Michaela. On an accident years ago with one of my friends, the last 2 letters of my name got like cut off on this one sheet of paper. So they're just like, oh, McKay. And that just kind of stuck. Started using McKay over on TikTok. I started using the oh hey it's McKay handle over on TikTok. When I started my podcast Popcorn Chats with one of my friends, Katie, I used the name McKay on there just as like a nickname, and also just so it's not like my full business name, because I do have like a regular 9-to-5 job. Not that it like matters, but I just wanted to be like McKay on that. Anyways, let's just, all that aside, thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed recently. It's incredible, and let's get into these books. So I have 6. I'll start off with the first non-fantasy, and then we'll get into all of the fantasy that I've read. And the first one, the only nonfiction one that I've read so far this year, is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is a memoir of, I'm sure if you're like around my age, like in your 20s, you remember the Stanford sexual assault case with Brock Turner years ago, and Emily Doe in that case, and her victim statement specifically that went viral off of BuzzFeed. And at the time, she was not identified, and then Chanel Miller, aka Emily Doe, decided to come forward with her name and wrote a memoir about her experience. And this book is so, I felt so many emotions reading this book. I cried reading it. I felt like a lot of anger. I felt a lot of frustration for everything that she had to go through. Oh, like the legal frustrations and the defense team, and just like anger at those people that I'm sure she felt like tenfold. And then I was also just like, why are we still at this place? And then she talked a lot about in the Me Too movement and her like observing that as a victim of sexual assault. And oh, it's so well done. I will say it is a heavy book. Like, it's definitely not a light, quick read, but it's so worth it. Her writing is beautiful. Her voice is like very clear and concise, and she knows what she wants to say, and she gets her point across. There's no really like dilly-dallying around it. There were so many times I just found myself in reading this book and being like, yes, like I was like verbally out loud agreeing with her, and it's just so beautiful. Her strength is astounding to me, and if you haven't read this yet, I know nonfiction is not normally my thing either, but this is so worth the read. Okay, next up is the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. So they consist of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have a reading vlog of Crooked Kingdom up on my channel, my reactions to that, so you can get like my full in-depth thoughts in that video. I had read the Shadow and Bone trilogy right at the end of last year in 2020, and I knew with the show coming out that I wanted to make sure that I was caught up on these, and I was more specifically interested in these over Shadow and Bone because these are like a heist plot. I heard that every character was like morally gray, which is my favorite, and these exceeded my expectations. I gave them both. I gave all of these books in here 5 out of 5 stars, but these two just really, really impressed me. And these are definitely the most YA on this list. Actually, there's one other series, but for the most part, more YA. If you're used to like my usual spice content that I recommend in books, this does not deliver on that, but it doesn't need it. It doesn't. It's YA. The plot doesn't need it. The romance doesn't need it. Like, it's just, it holds its own without it. I think the show only further solidified my love for this duology, because in the show, while I loved the parts with the Darkling and Alina and Mal, the parts with Kaz and Inej and Jesper and Nina and Matthias just really pulled through that whole show for me, especially Kaz and Inej, because Kaz Brecker is supreme in my book. And I really loved this. I love the series and I can't wait for season 2. Next up, we have Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This isn't a new release this year. I don't think a lot of these are, but it was new to me. So I finally got around to reading this. I bought this last year, like a long time ago after I read ACOTAR and loved it. I bought The Run of Glass and this, and I just finally got around to reading it. Mostly because I was kind of waiting until the second book was going to be out, because I hate waiting in between books for the next book to come out in the series, but I finally bit the bullet and just read it, and I loved it. The first 200 pages, slow as all hell. So much world building, and I was like, what is this? But I'm glad that I stuck through it and stuck it out, because it ended up being incredible. I also have a whole reading vlog of this on my channel too, so you can check out my thoughts there. There's magic, fae, mythical creatures, portals to hell, but all set in like a modern day city. So kind of cool. So it follows Bryce and Hunt. It is only told in Bryce's POV, which I don't necessarily like. I really like getting dual POVs, but it is what it is. I still loved Bryce's story, and I love Bryce as a character, and I can't wait to see where the rest of the world goes, because this has got me intrigued. And Miss Sarah J. Maas, please deliver on the spice in the second one, how you did with the next favorite book of 2021. A Court of Silver Flames. Now this is what I was looking for. Okay. Because this is like adult. So I'm like, you can put spice in it. It's not like I'm saying like put spice in young adult. I'm saying like put it in adult where it's wanted and needed. And Silver Flames delivered. This is one of my most anticipated books of 2021, and it definitely, I feel like, lived up to my expectations. This follows Cassian and Nesta, so this is technically like the 5th book in the ACOTAR series, kind of like 4, because A Court of Frost and Tar like doesn't really count. It's kind of like a novella, so I feel like that's like 3.5, and then this is 4. But regardless, so the first ACOTAR books all follow Feyre, and now these ones are starting to split off, and this one follows Nesta and Cassian, who you're introduced to in the ACOTAR series. I loved this. I was not the biggest Nesta fan before this book, but this book did get me on board with Nesta. I still don't think all of her actions are excused. I don't think like your trauma is an excuse to be a bitch sometimes, but I will say I understood her point of view, and I understood her thoughts and emotions, and I really liked seeing her character growth in this. I thought it was great. I really liked her relationship with Cassian. I do wish that we got just as much character growth with Cassian as we got with Nesta. I feel like Nesta was definitely the focus on that, and that's fine. She definitely needed it, but I would have liked to see like a little more of Cassian realizing that he is like a smart guy, and that he's not just like a brutish meathead who's good in war. I kind of wish that we got a little bit more of that. We got like bits and pieces of it, but I truly do think it was more of a look at the character development and setting up the next conflicts for the rest of the books, rather than this one being like super action packed. What are you doing? He's my little dreamer. He just wants to get to the ceiling fan. I keep telling him, one day, buddy, he wants to play with the strings that are attached to the ceiling fans. My little dreamer. Oh, and now Arya's up there too. But anyways, I loved the hell out of this book. I love this world. I love these characters, and I can't wait for the next books, because I especially want Azriel. I need an Az book. I don't care about Elaine, but give me Az. Thank you. Okay, next, I don't even know what this is classified as. Is it like historical fantasy? Kind of. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was my pick for my book club. I loved this. I will say it is a slow book, but I think in the atmosphere that I was reading it with my book club, it didn't ever feel slow, because we were only ever reading like, I don't know, 50, 75 pages at a time, that it took the time, I feel like, then for me to enjoy the character development and the setup kind of Addie's life back in France when she makes this deal with the devil, and then present day when she's meeting Henry and realizing that someone remembers her. It's definitely not going to be like action packed. It's not really that big on plot. It is much more character focused. I read more books, I would say, for the characters than I do for the plot. That's just my preference in reading, writing, watching films. Like, that's what I look for, and this is what that delivers. So this follows Addie, who, to get out of an arranged marriage back in like the 1700s in France, she makes a deal with the devil to get out of the arranged marriage, but he makes a little loophole on that. So he grants her out of this, and he's like, you can live forever, you can live as free as you want, go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Can you not play with my makeup brushes? Thank you. But in exchange, no one will remember you. So she walks through a door and instantly everyone inside forgets who she is. Her family don't remember who she is whatsoever. So it's kind of like this miserable existence for a bit, but she's like, I'm not gonna let you win. And he's like, I'll let you out of the deal, but then like, you're dead. Your soul belongs to me. And she's like, I'm not gonna let you win that easily. So it's kind of a game of cat and mouse over history, which I really liked. I liked Henry. He's the like current day character that comes into play. I did like him. And I loved Luke because I love a villain. I love a villain, what can I say? Last series. So these are the only ones on this list that I did not give 5 out of 5 stars, but because I finished like the series and overall, like looking back, I have very like fond memories of the series and I do still really like it. I'm gonna include them. So that is the last 3 books in the Shatter Me series. So they consist of Restore Me, Defy Me, and Imagine Me. I gave, I think, all of these 4 stars. I think I maybe gave Defy Me, the middle one, 3.5. I still loved them. I still liked the story, but I just don't think they were as good as the first 3. I felt like they felt a little stretched. And honestly, I was kind of in it mostly for Warner, to be honest. I love like an anti-hero, and he's like a bad guy even though he's a good guy, and that's just my ideal kind of character, and I really was drawn to his character in the first 3 books. In Kenji as well. I loved Kenji. I liked the band of characters in this. It is also YA, so obviously very different from like these 2, but really quick reads. And also I saw Terra Mafi is now releasing, I forgot what it's called, but she's releasing on my birthday this year, like a novella, but it's like a full novel length book. Like in the future. She hasn't said like anything else except that it's just another book in the series, but another novella in the series, and I can't wait for that. I can't really say too much what plot is for this one because they do build off of the first 3 books following the same characters. I was happy to finish off the series. I'm happy how it ended, but like I said, I don't think these 3 stand up to the first 3 in the series, but overall, as a whole, I love it. Hang out with me? Do I gotta hold you? Oh, you're going to sleep. See, Arya never really oh, she's sleepy. She doesn't need to be like always up in my business, but Dorian does. Cause you're the baby of the family. Anyways, that's it for these. I haven't read a ton non-romance this year, but honestly, I'm just a mood reader and I haven't really been in the mood to read much besides romance. And I'm not gonna make myself read things that I don't wanna read. If you haven't already watched my romance one, go ahead and check that out. That was my last upload. If you like romance, obviously. That's it for this video, and I don't know what's gonna go up next because I'm bad at planning. So I'll see you when I see ya.